Good day, everyone, and welcome to this weekly live webinar with me, Moneer Barazi, your business analyst. I'd like to cover the latest news, as usual, related to financial markets and help you find good opportunities, or at least draw a map that could help outline where markets are going. I usually like to start with the US dollar index, DXY, because it's an important reference point for several other markets, and we all know about the important role of the US dollar. Looking at the DXY here, the dollar index, we can see that it is still very weak. This is the 2-day chart, and this is still very weak, as we can see here. I expect this index to continue to drop to this level, to the 95.14, based on this retracement, because all the signs indicate that there's still a lot of weakness here. We saw this week that the S&P 500 reached new highs, and this coincided with a weaker dollar because investors expect a rate cut in September, and now the discussion revolves around the pace of rate cuts. And Jerome Powell said during his Jackson Hole speech that he, or the Fed, will no longer allow inflation to overshoot its target. And even though that might seem a bit hawkish, but it was interpreted in a more flexible way. It was interpreted as a flexible sign, and um, the dollar weakened as a result, and assets actually went up. Most American indices went up. We can see here the S&P 500 has reached new highs. It has reached 6,500.2 points as we speak right now. And this movement is becoming pretty stretched. The way I see it, we might see a pullback. I can see a divergence on the MACD. So it's important to stay cautious when when trading the S&P 500. Looking at the Nasdaq, and we will go through several indices on StockTA, our preferred platform, in a minute. The Nasdaq is also still trading at relatively high levels. It had reached all-time highs a few days ago, and now it looks like it's going to continue its way upwards, even though, again, this move looks pretty stretched in comparison with this move. So we can see that there are more pullbacks here as we move along. So it's important to be on the lookout for those pullbacks. An important catalyst, I believe, for this has been NVIDIA's latest report. The company dropped a historic quarter, another historic quarter, $46 billion in revenue, 56% growth year on year, with Blackwell data center sales carrying the torch, being really the winner here. So we can see that the AI trade is pretty much still intact, and it's still pretty much in play. And especially when we hear about Elon Musk announcing his idea or concept, or a project for a company called Macro Hard, as opposed to Microsoft. We all know Elon and his ways. The company will be run by AI agents. It's it's a software company, and it will be run by AI agents and helps enterprises with their work, automation, and different tasks such as coding and design and so forth. But what's unique about it is that it's run by AI agents. So the AI trade is pretty much still intact, and we can expect um, that it will continue to flourish, at least in the short term. But investors might want to keep an eye on earnings of big companies like Nvidia, which is basically the top player in this domain. So I want to go through some of the charts I've been checking on Stock TA. For those of you who don't know it, Stock TA is a technical analysis platform that really helps you structure your technical analysis and see the markets in a very different way. And what I really like about it is the confluence score, the trend score, and the confluence score for support and resistance. We'll see all of those, but those of you who know technical analysis understand that confluence, which means several signals aligning and pointing in the same direction, confluence is very important when you want to make decisions about where to put your money. So um, this is a very good platform, and I encourage all of you to incorporate it as one of your tools. Um, let's start with the UUP, which is a long dollar index or an ETF, and basically this usually suffers when the dollar goes down. Of course, it replicates the performance. It tries to replicate the performance of the XY that we just looked at. And we can see here that there are so many resistance levels, but we can still see there are major support levels here at 27.44 and 27.08. So this aligns with our view that the dollar will probably weaken in the very short term, but those levels of support might come back to play, and we might see some strength in the US dollar. Um, and this doesn't really contradict with the rate cut expectations because the dollar doesn't move linearly with rate cut expectations. So uh, please keep that in mind. In the short term, it has a positive bullish trend score 0.35, but it's neutral in the intermediate and long runs. I can see it is still correcting here, consolidating in this area. Might try to go down a bit before shooting up. We will see how it plays out, but this is my outlook on it. Um, Tesla has been doing okay, has been recovering. There is a solid support level here at 288. It has a confluence score of 11. And technically speaking, we can see that there has been a breakout. I'm imagining a line here that connects those 3 points, and we can see a breakout out of this point. So, and the resistance levels are quite weak. They have a confluence score of 2 each. So I don't see a lot of resistance facing Tesla right now. So it's likely to continue to recover. It has positive trend scores, bullish trend scores for all time frames. So looks like it's recovering, even though we can see the stochastic is slightly overstretched. but that doesn't really mean it will start a bearish long-term move. It just means a small pullback, maybe some profit-taking activity or so, or something like that. Um, to look at Nvidia, Nvidia is still very much respecting this support levels, and as I told you, those confluence scores are really meaningful. They really help you see and identify the levels that you should focus on and the levels that are merely a distraction. And this level right here at 178 is a strong one, and Nvidia is still respecting it, still bullish in the long and intermediate runs, um, neutral in the short run. We can see here a consolidation, so um, nothing really preventing this from continuing upwards as this AI trade continues to unfold. We can look at Amazon. Amazon dropped here uh, back a few days ago in the beginning of August, but it has recovered since. Again, this is respecting this support level, and we do not see a lot of resistance on this. Um, the trend scores are still bullish or neutral, um, and I believe if we clear those two resistance levels, then it's pretty much a continued move to the upside. Nothing much to stand in the way. And let's look at Apple. Apple is recovering here, facing some resistance levels similar to Amazon. You know, those tech companies often behave in a similar way. They display similar patterns. As we can see here that um, it has shown a pullback here, but it's now continuing to go up. So it's highly likely that it will clear those resistance levels. A good point to buy here, I believe, if you want to buy the dip, this might be a good point to buy following this pullback. And last, I want to look at QQQ technology index. As we expected, small pullback, exactly as we predicted in our last live session. A small pullback, and then it continued on its way upward, um, likely to continue further ahead, and uh, and the bullish trend score confirms that. So even though the Nasdaq and QQQ are slightly overstretched, and we can see here some divergences, be on the lookout for those. Uh, those are important, and even though they might not materialize tomorrow, but that's just latent selling energy. Um, uh, until we can see some clearance of this, um, I suggest traders to remain cautious, not take too heavy positions unless they have a longer time horizon. Then it's a wise strategy to buy those indices and hold them for the long run. But I can see some divergences here, and in the long run, the trend score is neutral. It's not bullish, as uh, similar to the intermediate trend score. So this is also a sign to be cautious. But given the rate cut expectations, I still see some bullish activity on this index, but I cannot rule out the possibility for some pullbacks, some dips along the way. So of course, it's very important to manage risk as you trade. This is all what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and joining me in this live session. Please leave your questions in the comment box below, and I'll be sure to return to you. As always, trade responsibly and profitably, and take care. See you soon.